Great week, great day, and fast, fantastic opportunity to bring trucking to the front lines. Your host, Boss Man, running the best thing since sliced bread. It's called the Trucking or Truth in Broadcasting Network. I haven't had enough of this. Can you tell? We take the stories from the background of trucking and put them on the front lines. Not just any story, but stories where the issues are essential to you, your job, and our way of life. Truth and Broadcasting Network is committed to bringing you these issues. We put them here. Let you decide what's right, what's wrong. As I've said before, either prove them wrong or prove me right. And one at a time, one story, one load, one day at a time, we will make trucking great again. Twice a week, Wednesdays, Saturdays. I bring you this show. My aim is through this and other video productions I put out here to get everyone at a place where in the trucking industry, you can sound off and make your voice heard, regardless of your beliefs, regardless of your experience. Your voice matters. So start today, go down below, become a subscriber to my channel at the very least. If you're watching on Driving with John, Midlife, Grumpy, any of those three channels, my usual guests, please go down, hit the like button for them. Let them know that you support them. Support your local creators. We are here to help you. You can call our studio line 860-785-3547. 860-785-3547. And you can become part of trucking history. Make your voice known. Let us know what you think and become part of the conversation. In the description is also a link. It's got StreamYard, a bunch of numbers, a bunch of codes. Click that link if you want to become part of the panel and join the conversation. Email me your ideas for stories on future broadcasts to that's truckingnews@outlook.com. That's truckingnews@outlook.com. I enjoy coming to you every week. It is a passion of mine. Unfortunately, sometimes the schedule doesn't work in my favor. So, you know what? Until I'm monetized on this channel and able to devote 100% of my attention, sometimes my schedule gets a little off. Today, we had a little problem getting the trailer unloaded, but such is life. I have a primary job, and this is my primary passion. So one has to give way to the other until such changes. Such is life. We're glad you're here. We look forward to having a great and productive conversation today. I want to start out by introducing the guests and giving you an idea what kind of mood everybody's in. Lo and behold, they're probably grumpy. Ain't that right, Mr. Acorn?
Yes, Mr. Acorn, no grumpy trucker.
How's life hanging in the great old state of Oklahoma?
Well, it's a pretty nice day actually right now. Not too hot, not too humid. I love it. Can't expect any better. Wish it was like this year round.
I wish I could figure you out. You're either a grumpy trucker or you're a happy little lucky charm thing. What
You'll
gives with you?
never know.
I know. I can't figure you out, my friend. I'm gonna tell you what. Heidi ho to the greatest personality known to man. How you doing, John?
Wow.
You never know what to expect with me, man. You really never do.
My head's not fitting in the screen. I don't even know what to say to that. My goodness. Did he just say that great? Wow. No. I'm just John, or otherwise known as, if you read down below, Bob.
Well, yeah. I was going to say, last week it was just Ask John. Now it's, hi, my name is Bob. You're confusing me, brother. My head's hurting. You're really. Mr. Atlas Man himself, the high-flying midlife trucker. How's life today, my friend?
Excellent. Coming to you from the largest truck stop in the United States.
I love it. Yes, was just there a few days ago, and believe me, my legs tell me that place is the largest truck stop. That is the longest walk in history. I swear to God.
I take you had to park on the back 40, huh?
No, actually, I parked at this pretty much the row behind where he's parked. I was not far
Oh,
away from where he is right now. So,
hmm.
I hate walking in that building. It's so big.
Oh,
Oh yeah, oh my word, I hate that place. I really do. I love it, but I hate it. I mean,
it,
yeah. Comment. Who hates
mall.
a 5 mile walk for a damn cup of coffee?
Well,
Yeah,
truckers aren't used to taking more than 2 steps, so
I know. Right? We're
Yeah,
so
I knew.
we're so out of shape. We're so unfit. Shame on us, right?
Yeah, the first 2 steps out of our truck is the doozy ones, because you might lose that last step, and find yourself picking up yourself.
I know,
well,
right?
I was speaking
Got to
of 2
watch that
steps
3
from
points of
between here and
contact
the
thing.
bunk.
Yeah. What happened to my background? Oh, there it is. Okay.
Oh,
There it is. Yeah. Technical difficulties. So I want to say hello to Poet, our good friend from the north. He's watching us from somewhere up there. I forget where he's at now. Good morning to you,
Anytime.
Poet. Morning, boss man, he says. That's good. A new face in the house, Donna Deschler. Good afternoon. How are we doing? I love the fact that you're here. Welcome to you. Good afternoon to Seven Seas. I like that we're seeing our usual cast and crew. I'm glad you guys are with me. Today we're talking about a couple of things. One's not so surprising. The other one, you didn't see this coming. So let me get to the points. Let me get to the facts. Let me amaze you with what I've figured out about trucking. You know, there's people out here that do a good job, and there's people out here that love what they do. One such individual is being recently recognized as a man who embodies, as far as I'm concerned, a true spirit and perseverance and dedication. Man born and raised in Kansas, found his calling behind the wheel over 60 years ago. Through ups and downs, sunrises, sunsets, his life is driven an astounding 5.5 million miles, crisscrossing highways of the 48 states and greater expanses of Canada. Yeah, I'm talking about you, Poet. His journey began after a bout of asthma forced him out of his full-time job, which back then was working on a farm. Such a simple thing back then was hard, but not impossible. So he embraced the open road, a trucker hauling everything from livestock to petroleum. For over 20 years, he's been a trusted driver at Coombs Inc. in Phillipsburg, Kansas, earning the title of Million Mile Safe Driver for his impeccable record many times over. Imagine navigating the scenic routes of Route 66, reminiscing about the first 8 mile section of Eisenhower interstate system, which he very well did, and recanted to one reporter. The wheat fields of the high plains, deserts of Southwest, bright lights of Vegas. He stood in awe of the Kennedy and Johnson space centers as they were being constructed, and marveled at the ports and harbors teeming with international cargo. Yet, for all the miles traveled and all the sights seen, the stories collected, his greatest treasure isn't the truck. His greatest treasure was the woman you see pictured there, his wife of 70 years, whom together built a legacy of love with a happy marriage, 9 children, 25 grandchildren, 26 great grandchildren. And in his rare spare moments, this man enjoyed antique cars and John Wayne movies, the embodiment of a life well lived. Currently celebrating his 90th birthday. Stories a testament to the power of passion, determination, and the unyielding spirit that drives truckers everywhere. Yes, it is possible. As long as his health holds, he'll keep on trucking, and he'll keep on being a beacon of inspiration to all who strive for excellence. You too can be just like Doyle Archer, a 90-year-old that shows no signs of stopping, no signs of slowing down. How many of you think in the audience that could someday be you? Let me know. And now you know a moment in trucking history. What do you think? 90 years old. My word. Most people are stretching it just to be 60 years old in the industry and enjoy their passion. Me, I'm 54 and I'm wondering how many years I got left. But if he can do it at 90, man, I'll tell you what, it's possible for anybody. What do you think about that one, Grumpy?
I call myself the original grumpy old trucker, but that guy's got me overwhelmed. I mean, there's no way that I could ever beat that. I mean, I struggle every day with my health, in different aspects of it. And DOT physicals are getting harder and harder to pass. But let me tell you, that man right there, he definitely earned some respect. 100% guarantee.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does indeed. That right there is not an easy thing to do. I mean, when you think about it, I mean, 90 years, you've got to be in some pretty darn good shape to be able to pass a physical at 90. I mean, what do you think, John?
Yeah, that was going to be my comment. Was basically DOT physical at 90. Heck, a DOT physical at 52 is hard enough. The other thing I was going to mention is we always kind of crack on Poet, our great neighbor from the north here, that since before I was born. But just to give you a little we pick on him, but he's 19 and a half years behind this guy. Holy moly!
Yeah, he ain't far away. I mean, good Lord. It won't be long at all. He'll be creeping right up on him. Maybe Poet will be the next world record holder. What do you think?
That's right. I'll
there
tell
you go.
I tell you what, Poet, you can put a feather in your cap right now. You're a young man right now. I'm just saying.
I'm serious. Standing next to that man, he is indeed. He is indeed. So I want to say hi to another strange face I haven't seen in a couple of broadcasts. Tolga, oi, oi, welcome to the show. I'm glad you came back. Nice to see you. He says, I gave a like to all of you legends. Watch the rest of the stream. God bless you. Thank you for your support. We really
Thank you.
it. And don't forget to leave a like, folks. It really helps the channel for the algorithm. Yes, sir. I love it, supporters. Got 19 and a half years to go. That's Poet's take on that one. And he, I guess, really likes your comment there. So, yeah, that's a good thing. So, what do you think, midlife? You've been kind of quiet on this. 90, pushing it? No plans to retire? What do you think?
Plan to retire at 70. And then,
come on, man.
wife will be retiring from teaching right about that time. And maybe we'll get us one of those trucks that's got the Freightliner, Volvo front end, or Western Star front end, and a beautiful RV on the back of it. And we might drive all over the country where she'll pick up stray cats and other fun animals.
Alrighty then.
You never know, right? Yeah.
Sounds like midlife's got it all planned out.
I know, right? Yeah.
Stay away from the real live teddy bears. They actually do.
Yeah. And then some of them can raise a stink too, so you don't want to be too impartial.
Evidently, they like running across the highway too, because John saw one just the other day.
Yeah. I want to say howdy to Alex M. Glad you could be with us. Another loyal guy I've seen here come last couple of roll down the window. It's getting kind of warm in here. So howdy to you. I'm glad you could be back with us. Poet says, "Oh my God, midlife, you want to be a pro tourist?" Is that what they call it? Is that what they call it? I love that. That's funny. Hey, all right. On to the story of the day. This is no doubt going to create a lot of stir, but I think it's high time we talked about it. Okay. I mean, because really, when you think about it, we should be paying a lot more attention to some of these things than we're not. But you know what? It is what it is. Let me get rid of the banner. Well, I'll put that up for just a minute, because what we're going to talk about is shippers mainly. But the story takes a different twist. And well, just follow me. I mean, I got designs on making this interesting. So, all right, here we go. So let's talk for a minute about safety and trucking. So the trucking industry needs a makeover. According to an article I saw linked below in the description, our friends at the Colorado Motor Carriers Association are just frustrated as heck, as are we, with everyone about crashes. They claim they've been playing nice with the government, following all the countless safety rules that make the industry one of the most regulated sectors around. Now, who can argue with that, right? But despite their best efforts, there's still some bad actors out there, ignoring safety laws, racking up violations.
Shocking, we want more regulation?
Careful, buddy. Let me finish the story first. It turns out having tough laws is one thing, but actually enforcing them is another. So no, there's no more regulations in this discussion. It's what we do with the current ones. These rogue companies are basically ticking time bombs, waiting to cause accidents and even other multiple safety violations. They're still allowed to operate. It seems penalties only come after disaster strikes, which is so comforting for the victims, right? And let's not forget the shippers who prioritize low cost, hence the banner I put up a minute ago, over safety records. They're happily hiring these sketchy operators, indirectly keeping them in business. In fact, it wasn't a day or so ago, Mother Trucker highlighted a company out of California that the FMCSA actually shut down willingly because of an accident over a year ago. They actually took a look at their safety records, said they are an imminent threat and danger to society, and took them off the road. Now, if this is the first of many things, God bless them. They're doing the job they are supposed to do. But our elected officials so far aren't helping much. They're sending mixed signals about highway safety. It took 2 years for people to agree that truck drivers should actually have a valid commercial driver's license. Talk about efficiency. So what I was intrigued with when I read this one specific article was the fact that this article itself that I'm referencing to is responding to a previous article on safety. And there was a quote in it and said, while enforcement is critical, and this is a quote again, quote, while enforcement isn't critical, shippers who hire unsafe operators bear some responsibility. Without these shippers contracting with them, these trucking companies could not operate. Shippers have access to safety scores. Many of the trucking companies, they can see exactly what their ratings are. They're public. And in checking their records, these shippers could easily have seen safety scores were problematic and seen the history and made the right decision. It's really just that simple. Now, based on that, are there other reasons that this escapes them? Let me know. Put in a comment below if you think there are other things at play that prevent the shippers from actually sticking to getting the job done, being safe, and keeping not only the public safe, but their customers happy as well. So let me know in the comments below what you think.
It's not just the shippers, though. You got the shippers who send it all out to a broker. So the shipper doesn't necessarily see the carriers. You got the shipper farms it out to a broker. Then the broker finds the carrier, and the carrier finds the driver. So
that's not always how
you got so many steps between the shipper and the driver of the truck.
I'm going to slightly challenge that, Midlife, because it was not long ago we were talking about a story, as I recall. And in that story, trying to remember the company we were talking about. I believe it was JB Hunt. Correct me if I'm wrong. But they were talking about what their customers see. And they clearly made it known that that customer score rating was important to them. They wanted, no, it was Prime, in fact. That's the company we were talking about. It was Prime. They pride themselves on making sure that they have the safest drivers and the safest atmosphere, so much so that they put the cameras in. And because of that, justifying the cameras was used, the argument that their shippers can see their safety scores was used to justify the cameras.
Now, keep in mind, Prime goes directly to the customer. That's contract freight.
Okay.
So they're going directly to the customer. In addition to that, Prime does not have the best safety score around. Matter of fact, they ranked about, right now, they're running around, their ISS is like in the 90s, which means you coming into the scale most of the time.
Right. So
but
at the same time,
when you're dealing with third party and brokers, they don't see it.
Right. At the same time, do you think it's a valid argument? John, I'll bring this one to you. Do you think it would be a valid argument that the shippers need to be educated as to broker or not, direct shipper or not, how to find safety scores and set standards that make your business better and everybody safer? What do you think?
Well, at first, I thought he was trying to say that every single load is going through a broker, but there's a lot of contract freight. And if you run contract freight, your safety record does matter. They do check it. They go through not only just your safety record, your credit. Like they run you through a ringer before you run a load for them, because that's their name on the line in the back. So yeah, they definitely do worry about safety scores.
Yeah. Poet, to answer your question, I already did, and I just haven't gotten around to having the time to respond to you. And yes, I will mention that. That is part of today's discussion. So bear with me, Poet. I've not forgotten that email you sent me. It actually, it actually flags part of the concern we're talking about today. So yeah, thank you for sending that to me. And testament right there, down below, folks. I mean, right there. Anytime you see a story you think you want other truckers to know about, do not hesitate. That's email. That's truckingnews@outlook.com. That's my email. Send me stories you think you want me to talk about, and like Poet just did, I will mention it here, and I will most likely be able to make it part of the story because you guys are better when you're informed, just like me. I don't know it all, so you know what? You guys sending me these emails certainly helps me. So, thank you for that, Poet. Frank, what do you think? I mean, I mean, in the grumpy trucker world, you know, I know it's got to be frustrating to you when you go to shippers that appear not to know what the hell they're doing. Now, you factor that in with, well, they'll just take any Tom, Dick, or Harry behind the wheel, don't care about the safety rating. How does that make you feel? That makes you grumpy, I don't doubt.
Yeah, I don't like that. I mean, it's just not right. I mean, just like whenever with us with our social media, they need to be vetted as well, and they need to vet other companies and stuff to find out, basically the story behind them. Are they going to be reputable? Are they going to be on time? Are they going to be able to get the goods there without having a lot of accidents behind them? Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's definitely one thing. It's a very serious issue.
Yep. Tom, one of the things that's come up a lot in recent news feeds that I see is this huge push on broker fraud and carrier fraud. You know, the FMCSA and DOT are really cracking down. I mean, do you think that's contributing to this problem?
No, that's the reason they're having to crack down on it is because of the fact that shippers are trying to get their stuff shipped, so they find a broker. Problem is sometimes they find a broker and the broker sends it out to another broker, not realizing it's a broker. Right. No broker wants to be double brokered. But what happens is there's some carriers, including some of the large ones, but some of the carriers, they broker the freight out to somebody else. And it can be double brokered, triple brokered, and that is an issue. But when it comes to the carriers, it's really a case of you got to know who you're dealing with, and reputation is everything.
Yeah, I think if more people were more aware, I think, and pushed out some of these third party broker situations and not necessarily eliminated, but to reduce them, I personally think that would go a long way because ignorance is bliss only insofar as it gets you somewhere or in a situation you can't handle. And being in those circumstances with questionable brokers, that adds to the stress and makes our lives even more difficult. So that's my take on that. I mean, the less fraud we have in the business, I think, and the less questionable business practices we have around our job, I think that goes a long way to safety. Don't you agree?
Yeah. Who are you talking to?
I thought Tom would. I heard him beep, so maybe he's busy with his drone. Go ahead, John. What do you think? You agree?
Yeah. The only thing I would caveat what you guys are saying is that I don't think double brokering is the biggest issue with fraud. It's an issue.
It makes it easy. It's not the biggest issue. It just makes it easier to occur. It's that extra step. It makes it easy. That's all.
Well, the biggest problem that I see personally, this is my opinion. I can't give you a statistic, but from talking to a lot of truckers as I do, would be fraud with carriers, and I don't mean the carrier committing fraud. I mean fraudulent carriers. Carriers that shouldn't be carriers, that don't really exist. They have MC numbers and stuff, but that's as it goes, and they just basically once they violate with those, they rip them off, tape up some new ones on a piece of paper on the side of the truck, and away they go. And that is a huge safety problem. The reason why is because you get these guys that are way undertrained and that don't understand the industry at all. Half of them, and I don't mean anything bad by this, but half of them you can't communicate effectively because they don't speak the same language as you do, and then they're gone, and you can never find them again. Like, I mean, look at Pate Trucking. His truck got backed into. It happened to me also. the guy was gone, and you look up the MC numbers, and they're a shadow company. They have MC number after MC number. They just change them out. So yeah, it's definitely a safety issue along with fraud.
Yep. Girl in a Semi contributes. Welcome to the show, Girl in a Semi. They're using AI to generate phony operating documents. Much to your point, John. So yeah, I mean, AI is helping with a lot. It's helping disguise a lot of things, but you know, AI is just that. It's a new technology. It's something we all have to adapt to. So that's going to take time, unfortunately.
I will tell you, I'm sure that's true, but they're going and getting real licenses from the FMCSA. The problem is the FMCSA is no longer doing the checks that they used to do, not especially them. And so you're able to go in. They're getting rid of the cooldown period, which means right now the way it's supposed to work is you get your carrier, your authority, and there's like a 30 or 60 day, I forget exactly what the cooldown period is. Someone knows, I'm sure they'll put it in the comments. That you can't run anything. That's what they call a cooldown period. And then after that, if they get rid of that, now you can apply for an MC number, get it, start running the very next day. By the time they ever do a check, you've already moved on to a new MC number because you screwed that one all up already.
Yep, exactly.
That's crazy.
Yep. It's that easy. It is that easy. And we have everybody chatting between each other. Yep. So So Grumpy, what do you think? You think fraud has anything to do with it? And you think AI will help or hurt the situation? What do you think?
If used properly, AI can help, but currently, right now, evidently, it's being used improperly. And you know, as far as fraud goes, I'm against it, as like anybody else should be. But what can we do about it? It's going to happen. There's no way of keeping it from it. I mean, it's hard to enforce.
Yep. This is true. Come on, cooperate with me. Darn it.
I'm hearing a clicking noise.
Yeah, it's probably me clicking on my my laptop because it's not cooperating with me.
Oh no, it's like a mic or something that's clicking. It might
be Midlife's mic. I don't know.
Yeah.
It is not. Midlife mutes his microphone between talking.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So, John, maybe it's on your end, bud, because I know you were cutting in and out a little bit.
Yeah, I wasn't going to mention it. I mean, because we can hear him. So, you know, maybe recalibrate your headset. Maybe that might help. Because I think you might have an issue, John. So take a minute and go ahead and take a minute and go ahead and recalibrate, and I'll get back to you here just a second. Let me see. Moving on anyway. Trying to get everything where I want it to be. No trying to hide things. There we go. Anyway, I mean, I got a bunch of questions, so I want to gauge the audience, see how you guys feel while the broadcast's going on. Take a moment, go down below, hit the like button. I certainly appreciate any and all support you can give me. We're talking today about safety and enforcement, basically, because you know there are a lot of laws out there. There are a lot of things on the books. You know, like Tom says, what do you want? More regulations? We got more than enough already. The rules and regulations we have currently are sufficient to keep us safe and to keep everybody in between the lines, operating safely, profiting and making money. Albeit they're not perfect, but the enforcement of these laws are nothing compared to the laws themselves if you don't do it equally. Like I said earlier, Mother Trucker highlighted a company out of California. Don't remember the name, but it was a video he put up yesterday talking about this company being shut down because they were an imminent hazard. Well, my thing is, why wait until they get to that point? Why wait until you roll a flatbed, strew your load all over the place, and kill somebody before being deemed an imminent hazard? Don't hire people without a commercial driver's license. Don't operate when your safety score is low enough that you can't even operate a commercial motor vehicle safely. So, I mean, do you think there's a gap between regulations and the enforcement? If so, what do you think would solve the problem? What do you think? Midlife, you're always good on that. What do you think?
I believe that the fraud aspect of it is just a small part of the business. It's not the major part. And I don't think we need to be focusing all our effort on the fraud part. There's a lot of issue and a lot of breakdown between all of the steps. They're taking steps now to make it a little more difficult. But the biggest key is the people at every step of the way, you need to verify who you're dealing with. If you're a carrier, you need to verify that's a reputable, well-known broker. People hate TQL, but TQL is a known entity. You know they're a broker. You know they're real. JB Hunt, you know they're a real broker. You know they're real.
Exactly.
And the thing about it is, if you're not verifying it, but keep in mind also when you talk about from a safety aspect, the ship's responsible for safety, the receiver's responsible for safety, the broker's responsible for safety, the carrier, and yes, even the driver, even though the driver doesn't have deep pockets, they will go after everybody.
Everybody has a part to play in this, and that's just the thing. But in terms of safety, think about it. In terms of safety, carrier fraud, broker fraud, we've all covered that. What are your thoughts, John? Do you think there is a disconnect, and what do you think would kind of solve the safety side of it? Kind of relating to that mother trucker story I referenced a little while back. What do you think? What would solve the problem?
What would solve the problem?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not as simple as what will solve, because in today's society, we live in a society where safety only matters until when something happens. That we don't preventatively do anything like we say we do, but I mean, look at the example you just cited. Nothing happens until after it happens, and then they're like, "Oh, safety." I mean, honestly, I'm gonna bring up the regulations things. I'm gonna get who all worked up over there. I mean, some of the regulations we have go directly against safety. So if safety was that important, why would we have regulations that would make it so that safety isn't important? You know what I'm saying? Like,
but from the standpoint of my question, do you think the enforcement is lacking right now? Like, for example, it took a death in California before FMCSA closed down that company in question. So clearly, enforcement for at least the last year was an issue on that company. It took them over a year and a court case before they actually figured out, oh, we got to shut these guys down. Think about the damage that could have occurred. Now, enforcement, if it changed and it were more direct, might not have saved a life, but it certainly would have made a difference.
Now, you remember a couple minutes ago when I was talking about how they used to audit carriers a lot. Well, that's a safety audit was part of it.
Yeah.
Again, that's one of the things that recently have gone by the wayside. Yes, it's still in the law or regulation. They don't really do it anymore. And on DIY on his channel, he was talking to some DOT or FMCSA guys, and they were basically throwing their hands in the air and going, "Yeah, we try to chase that down. Our bosses tell us to let it go." I mean, when the governing body that's supposed to, the point of the government is to serve us and look out for us.
Right.
Well, guess what? They're failing us because carriers like that need to be shut down before that happens. And they do that if they do regularly checks on every carrier, then that would help fix that. The other problem is, honestly, as a carrier, how often do you want the government prying through your books?
Yeah.
So people aren't as willing to be as open as they should be. So
True.
Before I just want to say, I know your camera's facing the other way, Midlife, but if you get a second, just read this right here, because it'll help you out.
Try doing what John told you to do. There you go. I like that. You're coming up with some pretty neat ones here lately. I gotta watch you.
Truckers are people too until they aren't. just ask Aurora Trucking down there in Texas. Truck drivers there are just passengers.
I put up a banner in your honor, Midlife.
There's still people.
Don't forget watch out for those pesky bridges.
So that's what that was all about a while ago. I thought John had played games there and putting that up.
right long before I started the show, brother. I'm a little crafty too, you know. Girl in the Semi points out, as soon as you solve the problem, they find another way around it. Now, I understand how you feel, Girl in the Semi, but you know what? That's exactly why this show exists. I want people to talk like that. I want them to understand, you know what? The game ain't over, dude or miss. The game ain't over. I mean, we got a lot of smart people out there, but we've got an equal amount of very intelligent people out there, much like yourself, young lady. I'll tell you something. They do find ways around things, but it takes people like you and me to key into that and catch them. We will make trucking great again, regardless of what you say.
Boss man, it's lunchtime here at Iowa 80. I got time to take the wife in and partake of the buffet.
You enjoy one for me, my friend. I love the fact you're here. Have a good old bran muffin on me, and have a great day.
Bye.
Take care, midlife.
Take care. So it says in my email that outfit runs Toronto. Okay, all right. Good segue, because I was just going to mention that. The email he references, and I don't have the exact email in front of me. I don't know the name of the company, but I will provide it if asked. Okay, so if you want to know about this company after I get done explaining it to you, email me and I'll give you the details. A particular company running in Canada is looking for a safety coordinator, and this right here exemplifies the problem we're talking about today. Okay, because for this safety coordinator, there is an entire list as long as my left arm of things they want this safety coordinator to do. Okay. Do either of you two in the panel want to take a wild guess what they're willing to pay this person for all these responsibilities? That include safety management on vehicle maintenance, safety management on vehicle maintenance records, personnel records, inter-office communications, inspections, requirements to meet, like say drug testing and all that kind of stuff. I mean, again, long as my arm. How much do you think this person is being asked to work the job for? An hourly wage. What do you think?
Well,
I'm gonna go say. Oh, go ahead, John.
No, go ahead, Grumpy. You go first.
I'd say up in the close to $500,000 to $1 million at least. I'm sure.
Okay, so I mean, in terms of an hourly rate, what do you think that person would be paid? What do you think that would equate to?
Oh heck, I'd say a couple of $100 an hour at least.
Okay, what do you think, John?
Well, are we talking about a company that actually cares about safety, or a company that wants a figurehead to make it look pretty so that the government says, "Oh yes, they care about safety"? Because there are different companies like that out there.
Well, and it goes to the point I'm trying to prove. What do you think a good quality safety manager is worth these days?
That's I was getting there. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm a little slow coming around here. Okay. But the company that they're going to pay them bare minimum, rock bottom, $12 an hour, $10 an hour. But the company that actually cares, those people are going to be getting salaries, and their salaries are going to be a lot higher than you can imagine. Maybe not as high as the grumpy old trucker over there is fantasizing about, but I do believe that it'd be a lot higher than you'd think. A couple $100,000 a year or $100,000 a year for a safety manager for a company that actually cares. Yeah, that's not uncommon.
Well, would it surprise you to know that this safety manager in question in this email that Poet sent me, it's a basic listing, because they have a job opening at this particular company, and they're looking for all of this work, well over 40, 50 hours a week. Lord knows it would be at least that easy. And they're looking to pay him $16.50 an hour. Now, there's no telling how many people are in that company. Obviously, this company is, like you say, John, they don't care about safety.
No.
But when I saw the number, I was like, I mean, good Lord, I'm amazed they even have one inflated tire on any truck.
Well, I'm saying that you could go to work at McDonald's and make that and have less stress.
Yeah. I mean, that's tantamount to minimum wage, for God's sakes. You know,
Mm.
922. I don't even want to make sense of your name. Welcome to the show, my friend. Most of the drivers have been delivering to my company can't back into a dock without tearing up the neighbor's yard and no speaking of English. all opinions are welcome, but that's incredible to believe.
That's actually a fish name right there, crappie.
Yeah. Oh, is that what that is?
Yes.
Anyway, girl in semi
Not sure that's how it's pronounced, but we'll go
50K a
with
year.
crappie.
Yeah, girl in semi guessed about 50K a year. So I guess in a sense, yeah, she was pretty accurate, pretty close. Unlike Grumpy, who guessed, where the hell did you get that
Hey.
figure from anyway, Grumpy? I
Hey,
can't figure that out.
I got that because the factor of it is if it's a good safety person, they're going to be paid good. But evidently,
Not that good.
they're looking for
Yeah.
somebody off the street.
Yeah. Well, Poet says minimum wage because he's the one that saw the ad. And he saw what, and he knew instantly. I mean, because hell, somebody as long as he's been in the industry, I mean, you can spot, a crappy ad a mile away. Number one, I wouldn't work for the company. Number two, I wouldn't drive for the company. Much less, if I'm out and know the company personally, I'm going to be watching for their emblems. I'm going to stay away from them. That's how Swifty Swift got their name. I didn't say that.
Gonna say another S nightmare,
right? Yep. All right, so let's look at another side of this, okay? Because the other thing I talked about in the industry, or in the intro, I'm getting ahead of myself here. Yes, I've actually had too much coffee. Is image. Image is everything. And I don't care who you are and how long you've been in the business. Image is everything to you. I mean, if you're a 10-year veteran, a 30-year veteran, like Poet, 50 years in the business, whatever, image is important. And you know what? We're in trouble. Industry-wide, not individually, but industry-wide, we're in trouble. And my mission here at this channel is to put on a different image, change it one show at a time, one idea at a time, one concept at a time. Until that happens, though, what do you think we can do to help ourselves change the industry and promote a culture of safety and improve our image? What do you think, John? By the way, put it in the comments. If you're watching, viewers, put it in the comments. What do you think your answer should be? What do you think, John?
Well, you got to get half of the industry to actually be trained properly so that safety becomes more of a thing. That's the biggest problem. We have half an industry that are old school guys and that are younger guys coming in that actually give a hoot, and then you have another half of the industry that just come in for a JO paycheck. They hate their job. They hate everything about trucking. They just don't really care. They have no pride in what they do. Right there is what's doing it. Like I'm telling you.
Well, Poet's making a good suggestion. He says, I don't wear flip-flops. So that's a good thing. I like that. I don't wear flip-flops.
Here, I'm talking about the big thing on social media with truckers. Yeah, if you're jumping out of the truck and shipper, receiver, somewhere where something besides flip-flop attire, you need to be wearing appropriate attire.
Yeah.
But if you're hopping around your truck or going in to take a shower, as much as I don't like, I don't care, whatever. But
yeah, if you're on your own time, it really shouldn't matter. But if you're representing yourself, the industry, or a company, you owe it to all three to be properly represented. Not only by us, but by you. You owe it to your industry, if nothing else, to do it right. Be safe, be sensible, use common sense. Those three things are really hard to find in this industry. And that, I think, would go a long way to turning the industry around. What do you think, Grumpy?
I think, honestly, I kind of got to agree with John on this. It starts basically more or less with us drivers out here. We're the biggest representation of any company. I mean, so you got to start with us, and as long as we're showing respect and showing responsibility and watching what we're doing and being very professional as we are, then that puts a good star flag for the company we're working for. And then, of course, it just moves on up the chain. But yeah.
My pops drove for 33 years. Loved the true truckers of the world. God bless you. Same back to you. And my hat's off to your pops. Man, proved he can do it. So definitely good thing there. This one I like. In the UK, the image isn't too bad. Nice to hear from the UK, the Nerd in Motion. God bless you. I'm glad you're joining us. But people don't really understand how difficult it is and how heavily regulated it is. I think just my short time in the industry is to educate people on trucks. I salute you. I welcome you. And you know what? If I can lend any help to that mission, I'm here, my friend. You contact me day or night. Go ahead, John.
I was just going to say, I would actually say in our country, other than the image isn't too bad, everything else he said is true for our country. I mean, no one realizes how heavily we were regulated and difficult our job is. Matter of fact, I get comments all the time, and I hear people, all the time talking about how, truck drivers are lazy. They just sit in a chair all day. And comments like that make me realize how little is understood about our industry.
Exactly. Griff, my friend, salute to you. I'm glad you joined the show today. Nice to have you with us. Obviously, you know what? Image is important. And you know what? I agree with you 100% on that, John. But you've heard me say it before. It starts with you. It really does. Every time you get in and turn that key, every pre-trip you do, every post-trip you do, every single action you take really can make or break the image you help generate for what we do out here. We've got it hard enough out here. We're fighting technology. We're fighting electrification. We're fighting regulations. We're fighting rates. We're fighting the economy. Why make it worse than it has to be? By being careless and not representing the industry you serve with a poor image. It just makes absolutely no sense that we do that. So what are some practical steps we can take to help out with the enforcement I spoke of earlier and improve our image and get to issues and situations before they happen? What do you think would kind of help in that regard? John, you first. What do you think?
You normally tell us who's talking. This is like the third time. Man, you got to direct it towards somebody because I have no idea who you're talking to.
I'll give you the secret after the show. We'll work on that. But in the meantime, what do you think?
Yeah, well, I'll be honest. I was actually looking at comments and responding back about half of what your question was. Can you repeat it? I'm sorry.
Well, yeah. I mean, when it comes to the mention earlier of enforcement and trying to help identify and eliminate the bad actors or those individuals that really poorly represent the industry, what do you think would be some suggestions as how we as an industry can help that happen faster?
Not being okay with other people breaking the rules. We all know we're this way sometimes as truckers. We'll pull our curtains, and what happens on the other side of that curtain doesn't matter. But people are always like, mind your own business, mind your own business, mind your own business. No, actually, you should be offended when another truck driver does things that are outside of normal safety, protocol, because that is your industry that they're representing. It could be your family's life that they're taking. Like, you need to be seriously and not just be like, I don't see anything. I don't see anything. That doesn't fix anything. That makes everything worse.
No. It kind of goes tantamount to the old Rudy Giuliani saying, see something, say something. I hate to bring names into the show that, aren't here to defend themselves, but it's the same thing. If you see something, make a point to say something. Whether it's your company, whether it's another company, we have these numbers on, 800 how's my driving for a reason. A lot of us don't. A lot of us grab the CB radio and we squawk, and get nothing done but just making a nuisance of ourselves on the radio. That's all fine and good. But if you don't call and report the problem, whether it's as you're on the road or whether you're in a parking lot or something, you're part of the problem. You agree with that, Grumpy? Do you think more could be said for that?
Yeah, I mean, it refers back to me, to the old symbol of hear no evil, speak no evil, and see no evil. And basically, if you see it and you hear it, you know, do it. Get out there and explain to the companies that, hey, this person is messing up. I think you need to talk to them. They backed into somebody and then took off, or they ran this tree over here on this property, or they almost hit a car. I mean, somebody needs to know something, because otherwise safety is just going to continue being bad out here.
Yeah, it's going to continue being an issue, obviously. Yeah. Toga says, fun fact, driving any vehicle whole day long needs pretty close effort to running for a few hours. As you can guess, trucks are more difficult than cars. So I don't know what relation he's trying to make, but yes, to say the least, Toga, it is a very difficult job. And it takes a very huge mental strain and toll on each individual. So you really do have to take it seriously. Do you want to add to that, John?
Well, I was just gonna say, for those truckers that are out there and they like to complain about everything but not do anything about it, you're part of the problem. You really are. If you actually stood up and decided to make change in your life and help others to become better, then our industry as a whole would raise up. Safety would raise up. This the way people respect would come up. Like, be part of the solution, not the problem.
Exactly.
As a good friend of mine always says. So.
Yeah, I wonder who that is. Nerd Motion, again, contributing with some great wisdom. I think the hard bit is that we see the worst on the road and it makes you just hate the general public. It's like the police. They constantly see the worst in humanity and it makes them hard. That is a large bite right there. And Nerd Motion, I appreciate that. That makes a lot of sense. People wonder why us truckers are so appearingly anyway, so insensitive. Well, right there. I mean, that is English wisdom if I've ever seen it. That right there is common sense. We are the way we are in this industry because of what we're exposed to. And imagine the outcome if what I spoke of through most of the show could be achieved. I mean, whether you're talking about elected officials or whether you're talking about others in the industry, and not just us drivers. We're talking about people in the warehouses. We're talking about people in fueling, the mechanics, the logistics providers like Tolga, the people in brokers and shippers' offices and dispatch offices. Every one of you have a part to play. And every one of you can make or break a good image or a bad image. So it's not just us. As much as a lot of the blame and onus lays on us, not so much of the blame, but I think there's a lot of that to go around, and I think we could go a long way to making the industry what it once was, if not for profitability, at least for image. What do you think, John?
Yeah, I do think it's up to us. I do want to say, guys, as I'm reading these comments coming through, just do me a favor, guys. Okay, my name is Driving with John. If you're on my channel watching, just do me a favor. Click on over to this guy's channel over here. The reason why this is a collaboration is because I 100% believe in what this guy's doing, and I'd like you to go to his channel to watch and subscribe to his channel and support his channel like you do mine. And that's all I'm asking. It's not much, right? It's just everything I want. So, all right. What was the question again? I'm sorry.
You got me thinking. You got my head inflated so damn much. I done lost track of the question.
Well, as someone that has the greatest personality on earth, I can understand what an inflated head feels like. So.
Yeah. That was way back. Yeah. Well, let's go with Tolga's comment. When you said people are calling drivers lazy, they sitting in a chair all day long. I was making the point that's not what it looks like. Yeah, and that just goes to the point I made a minute ago. Looks can be just only part of the problem. Because as truckers, we're not 100% the industry we serve. You've got the brokers, the safety managers, the dispatchers, the people in the warehouse that load and unload the trucks, the people at the offices in FMCSA and DOT that have to coordinate with these people, the organizations that represent us, whether they represent corporations or individuals, it doesn't matter. But everybody as a whole has a huge part to play in what the image of this nation and the industry looks like. But don't get me wrong, it starts with you and involves a collaboration. Just like John said, it's a collaboration of effort, it's a collaboration of wisdom. And speaking of wisdom, another good comment coming up from the Nerd in Motion. Just got a shout out on Friday to site manager because I didn't drive into a tiny car park that said I'd possibly get a fine of 100 euros. Didn't react. I'm not moving until you calm down and be polite. Exactly. That goes to the point. You don't make a move unless you know what you're doing is deliberate, with a purpose, and safe. So, good point, Nerd Motion. I appreciate you contributing. I mean, again, it's a collaboration. Everybody thinks it's always us. It's always just the grumpy old trucker or boss man or John. No, we are an individual in itself. The three of us together. Think about the industry. We're as genuine as that. Think about how much better the industry would be, Grumpy, if everyone did their equal part to change the image. How much better of an industry do you think it could be?
It would be a lot more happier place, a lot more safer place. I believe, people just need to work together, just very similar to how we do this show. We work together, communicate.
It's very simple. I mean, it doesn't take a whole bunch of rocket science to figure out. So, I mean, go ahead, John.
I was just going to say, I think the hardest part is getting past your own pride. Like for this show is what cued it in my head. We have three separate people. We all have our own thoughts. We all have our own feelings. Feelings. But we all have those, and so in order to make it work, sometimes we got to decide and recognize that we can either be part of the solution or part of the problem, and that one thing that's bothering us doesn't matter as much as the big picture. And I think that is the biggest problem with our industry today. On the driver's side of it, we get the pride, and everybody's guilty of it, but I've been driving 1,000 years, or my truck's nicer than yours, or my truck has a longer hood than yours, or yours is or whatever that thing is that you take pride in. It's not bad to have that thing, and kudos to you for driving for all those years and having a nice truck, but don't look down upon others that don't.
Boom, Fate Trucking in the house, joining us.
I gotta go, Fate's here. I gotta
go. What do you think about safety and image, Fate? You got anything to add to this?
Can you all hear me?
I can, sir.
Now.
Can you hear me?
Coming through loud and clear. Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
Truckers' image is 100% on the truckers. I can hear you.
I think so. Okay, good.
100%.
Why do you say that, Scott?
Are the clerks outside throwing their pee bottles and trash bags in the parking lots and the fuel islands and all that? The warehouse people, are they the ones doing that, or are the truckers?
Yes.
The warehouse people have the warehouse people have no.
As nasty as the whole pee bottle thing is, I mean, the clerks aren't doing it. Yeah, but does that have anything to do with safety?
Well, you said image.
Yeah, true.
Truckers are responsible for our own image.
True.
And truckers are 100% responsible for their own safety. Nobody else is. It's your job to be professional. It's your job to be safe. Now, I'm not giving it a pass when we're held up at places for 6, 7, 8 hours, but it's our responsibility in that time. Instead of stewing and being mad, we go to sleep. That's our responsibility.
True. Yeah, true. You're getting a hiya from Poet. He's recognizing you're here. Just want to let you know. I don't know if you can see the screen, Fate. So
I can't.
He said,
no, yeah, that's why I'm
he said
telling you.
if Bebe's here, he's gonna have to leave also, just like I said.
Well, Fate, everybody has an opinion. Yours is
Listen.
just as welcome as my own. So I definitely respect how you feel. And you know what? In a sense, I kind of agree with you. I mean, it does have a lot to do with image. What you say, it does have a lot to do with image. But I think it can go collectively. We'll do a lot better, I think, if we feel like we have support from those who work around us, other truck drivers, as well as the people we work for.
That is a completely different question than what you asked. Because I agree with that statement, but that is not the question you asked.
Yeah. Well,
So,
which
Fate,
question
Trucking, I
were
have
you
a question
referring
for
to?
you.
I've asked quite a few of them in this show.
Well, you
Fate
just on
Trucking,
here
he
about
comes in and he says, well, I have a question for you, Fate. Just give me a second here. When you talk about the images on the truckers, but what about the truckers that aren't doing that? Is it still their fault too?
repeat that.
So you came in and you were saying how the image are on the truckers, which I agree with. But is it also on the truckers that aren't doing the making the messes and doing the wrong things, or is it only on the ones that are?
No, it's on all, like, it's personal responsibility. It's personal, putting the blame or saying somebody else should do something to change the image. The people on the forklifts, the people in the logistics office, they're not driving the trucks. They're not the face that the people see. So it's collective. It should be
I agree.
everybody. And I mean, that's never going to happen. But in a perfect world, that's how it would be. But when it
this is why I asked you that question, because it goes right back to what I was saying earlier. You know, if you see somebody doing something that is just wrong and gives truckers a bad name, just look the other way and say it's not my business. Well, is that really? Do you really care about your profession if you're doing that? No. You have to, be like, dude, pick up your garbage, throw it away. Like, I've watched a guy of a famous YouTuber named, I think his name is, he made it for a Landstar guy, made a mess in a parking lot and pulled away. Now, he could just oh, well, look what happened. No, he made a video about it and then picked up the garbage. And, like, guys, we need to not be afraid to point out when other people fail us as truckers. So
it's
kudos
just like
to that
earlier,
famous YouTuber named Fate Trucking.
Well, at the same time, that goes part to what I famously always say. You can be part of the problem, or you can be part of the solution. The choice is yours. The choice is ultimately up to you. So, what about this question on the screen? I think that's a good way to wrap up today's show. The big gap in skills with operators. Some honestly are hopeless, and others are super professional. How do you standardize it? Now, I don't know what the guy means by that. I mean, bear in mind that we're talking about Nerd Motion. He's a UK driver. Standards may be a little different over there than they are here, but I think industry-wide, I can relate to his reasoning. How do you standardize or change effectively an image like that, the way he's talking about, the gap in skills? Some come through with very little professionalism. Others have a huge amount. So how do you solve that? How do you bridge that gap? Anyone?
Training and holding people accountable. I do apologize, guys. Comments about my mic clicking. I think my headset's going. I've been having issues for a couple of days, so I do apologize. I will try to get that fixed.
Yeah, I wasn't going to make a big deal. So. I wasn't going to make a big deal out of it because I know you'd fix it. But that people are pointing it out, yes, we're aware of it. So thank you for your patience, everybody. Last week I had sound issues. This week John does. Yeah. So, what's your thoughts, Frank? How do you put a standardized, or how do you bridge the gap between those that know and those that don't?
Well, proper training for sure. I guarantee you that's the big ticket right there.
Yep.
I mean, you can't just throw somebody in a truck and expect them to know everything, and it's just not going to happen. I mean, it's just like when you begin to ride a bicycle, you're not going to know how to do it. Somebody's going to have to show you. Somebody's going to have to teach you. Same way with trucking. I mean, and you should follow, lead by, I think it's called lead by example.
Yes.
So I mean, just like with Fate, you're saying, the pee bottles and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That's, right there. Don't be that example. Be a good example.
It's one thing to publicize it, but in the sense that he pointed out, I do agree with Fate in that it really does come down 100% to you. As much as I made the point earlier, talking about safety now, not about image, so totally, it does come down to a team effort. Collaboration has a lot to do with a team effort, making the environment and industry we work for being safe. But where Fate came in and talked about image being 100% us, yes, it starts with you. And the moment you screw up, it ends right there at your front door. So, you didn't get to that, Fate? I thought that was a beautiful point to make. I don't know if he's lost his sound or not. I don't know. Not hearing much from him. I don't know. Parting words, John? Image? Good thing, bad thing? Yeah, I guess we got our answer.
Guys, I think our is definitely tarnished, and as long as we sit around and just ignore it or point out, like to just talk about it as a whole, it's not going to fix itself. We need to start being the guy that calls somebody out. I mean, look at it this way. If you care about what you do, like for instance, I'm not going to use trucking because a lot of people will get butthurt, so I'm going to use YouTube. If you care about what you do on YouTube and you make a video that sucks, tells you it's good, you're never going to change. You're always going to have sucky videos. Someone's got to be willing to stand up and man up and tell you, dude, your video sucks. Fix this, and this. And then all of a sudden your video will get better. It's the same in trucking.
Exactly.
You're willing to stand up and say, dude, if you love this industry like I do, then do this, and this.
Yeah.
It will get better in that case. But if you don't care, you shouldn't be in trucking.
Yep. Very true.
Right.
Last words, Frank. What do you think?
Well, I have to agree with John there. The factor of it is